New York City now addressing the damage from last night's flash floods, especially the MTA.
Commuters, as you saw in some of this video, trapped inside subway cars as record rain flooded these stations, suspended service in more than half a dozen lines, as well as the heavily delayed Metro North. Now, this morning, good news. A lot of it is back up and running. We're talking to MTA Chairman Janno Lieber right now, who's joining us now from the Situation Room to give us an update on the service. So good to see you, Chairman. Thanks for being here.
You bet. Thank you, Dan.
Long night for subway crews, all right? I know you worked around the clock to make sure that the morning commute was up and running. What is the situation this morning? Is everything back online, including Metro North LIRR?
Absolutely. Good point, Dan. And thank you, Kirsten, for joining. Listen, we got all the service back this morning. We got subways, we got bus, we got Long Island Railroad, we got Metro North. It's all back in action because, as you say, hundreds of people worked overnight. But the videos that have gone viral are representative of a problem that we have to address, which is the city's sewer system, the stormwater management system, does not have the capacity to process water when you go above 1.5 inches or 1.75 inches in a single hour. Last night, that rainfall was more than 2 inches in an hour. That's when you get the backup into the stations, into the tunnels, and you see that kind of geyser-like condition where a manhole gets popped because there's so much water backed up. We are urging the city government to please, take steps to expand the capacity of the stormwater.
What does that look like, Chairman? What does that look like in terms of expanding that? Have you spoken to the mayor about it?
Yeah, we have it. This is the work that we're doing with the city over time, but it is a particular priority on the west side of Manhattan. That's where you saw the #1 train knocked out. The 2 and 3 trains were impacted for a while. That's where you saw a couple of those geyser-like conditions where the city's own stormwater management system backs up. So we need those investments. But let me tell you, the MTA is making investments. Anybody who's riding the system sees us increasing the height of the increasing the step as you go into a train station stairway. That's to keep the water out, because in many cases, water's coming over the curb. We want to keep it out. We're also increasing
let's ask you this, Chairman, if you don't mind. I know you pump millions of gallons of water out of the subway on a dry day. You're constantly fighting water here in New York City. Yeah. In the absence of making these larger storm drains, storm system, larger pipes in order to move the water out, what else can you do, especially when you know in situations like this, you're facing heavy rainfall that had been forecast throughout the day?
Well, Kirsten, there are a lot of preparations that take place. Basically, we clear all the drains that we control, and we make sure that the vents are, where we have conditions where water does tend to come over the curb, that vents and other entry points are covered. But the big picture is we need the stormwater management system to be expanded so we don't have those geyser-like conditions. And we're also making, thanks to Governor Hochul, we have $700 million in our new capital program just enacted in the last legislative session for climate resilience investments. And we're making those not just in the subways, but also in the commuter railroads. We need to plan for climate change, and that is what we're doing.
Right, and when you say climate change, it's because we're seeing more of these heavy rainstorms and so on and so forth, and not just coastal storms, but just downright rain that needs somewhere to go. So let me ask you this. Have you seen, Chairman, in other areas, I know you're talking about that west side, that spot, because we saw the 23rd Street 1 train, right? Have you seen, if you open these storm drains with the city in other places, has it mitigated the floodwaters? Have you seen it work in other places?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you increase the capacity, then you can deal with, yesterday that 1 hour was over 2 inches of rainfall. That is the second largest rainfall in a single hour that is in the history of New York City, other than Hurricane Ida back in whatever it was, 2021. So yes, we know that if you can get more capacity, you will see fewer of those backups that impact on people the most. But we're also working with the city and, truthfully, with everybody every day to protect against water coming downstairs. We make sure that the utilities don't poke holes in the sidewalk so water comes in the ceiling of the subway onto the platform. You saw some of that yesterday. All of those investments need to be made. The subway is not a submarine. It is not hermetically sealed. People are poking holes all around us. We need to make investments to seal it up.
And I know also that people do find themselves, because this happens so rapidly. You talked about how the 2 inches fell in just 1 hour. This happens so rapidly, people are already on the trains. What do you have in place to make sure that riders stay safe when they do get trapped inside of a flooding subway car? What are those those evacuation plans and the plans to shut down those systems and the stations where people are in danger?
Well, Kirsten, very good question. There were no trains stranded yesterday. Our operators are instructed and trained to be very attentive to the water conditions. So they don't go into areas where, for example, the water's over the third rail and could knock out the electric power. So we have all the protocols and training in place to protect riders. That doesn't mean that they won't encounter water in the station. And when we shut down, obviously our evacuation protocols are very well established. So good question, but that last night was not an issue, and we're gonna emphasize safety for riders above all.
Yeah, and the most important thing for those folks heading out this morning for their commute, everything is back up and running.
Back on top.
Which is incredible.
We're in action,
yeah.
Dan. We're ready to go.
Yeah, I should say it was 28th Street, not 23rd Street. I misspoke earlier. Chairman, great to have you here this morning. Great job to everybody. It was a lot of water, so great job getting everything back up and running this morning.
Thanks for working through the
You
night.
bet. Thank you.